Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. Here I am again with what is the penultimate episode of Covertape Chaos Commodore Format Edition. Today I'm looking at the second of 3 special power packs that were assembled by the talented folk behind the Commodore Format Archives blog. There are 4 full games and 1 demo this time, so there's plenty for us to check out. If you would like to download and play these games for yourself, you can get the files from www.commodoreformatarchive.com. So let's get started. First up this time around, we have a horizontal shooter by the name of XForce. There are actually 2 versions for you to choose from, each of which features a different soundtrack. The original edition has music by Paul Hannay, and the trance edition has music by Richard Bayliss, and as you have probably guessed, it's in a trance style. Other than that though, the games are basically the same. The game features 16 underground levels, and your objective is to essentially survive each one. The aliens don't actually shoot at you, so you could just avoid them, but you won't get a very good score if you do that. Best to blast them to bits instead. Periodically, different power-ups will appear that will increase the firepower or speed of your shots, among other things. At the end of each level is a guardian who, like the other enemies, doesn't actually have to be killed, but it is recommended that you do so. XForce is a pretty tough game for the first time player, but it is fun and definitely something I would like to spend more time with so that I can get competent at it. The graphics are decent, the controls respond well, and the game is glitch free. As for the music, I think I actually prefer the moodier, atmospheric version instead of the upbeat, dancey one. Either way, I would definitely recommend giving this one a go. After that comes Maze of the Mummy, which is a 16-level demo of a brand new puzzle game. This is a pretty cool concept that works really well on an 8-bit machine like the Commodore 64. Basically, you are a little Indiana Jones style explorer who has to safely navigate his way through each chamber of a pyramid while avoiding a deadly mummy. The levels are grid-based, and for every one step that you take, the mummy can take 2. He's not the brightest bundle of rags though, so it is possible to get him trapped behind walls, and then use this to make your escape. In fact, this becomes an essential tactic pretty early on. With some very nice graphics and slick execution all round, this looks to be a fantastic offering if you enjoy your puzzle games. I fear that it would get too tricky for me after a while, but I did really enjoy this demo version. Our third game on Power Pack 63 is a text adventure, and if you've watched earlier episodes of Covertape Chaos, you will know by now that this is probably my least favourite type of retro game. I just don't have the patience for them, I'm afraid. Still, let's give The Prisoner a fair shake, shall we? It's based on the really old TV series of the same name that starred Patrick McGoohan, who I know more as King Edward Longshanks from Braveheart. Playing around for a few minutes gives me the impression that this is a pretty well made one of these. The descriptions are nice and atmospheric, and the game seems fairly dynamic, with events happening from time to time, such as messages over the loudspeakers. If I had ever actually watched an episode of The Prisoner, I may have an idea what to do next, but sadly I have never seen it. Worth a punt for fans of the genre, or indeed the TV show it's based on. You Have to Win the Game is a C64 adaptation of a very popular Steam platformer that went on to have at least one sequel that I know of, Super Win the Game. The visuals are a little bit basic and Spectrum-esque, but it's the gameplay that counts, and You Have to Win the Game is extremely solid in that regard. In order to beat it, you have to explore every inch of the map, find every bag of treasure, and find 4 orbs twice. That will bring your completion percentage to 100%. The game is a little bit reminiscent of stuff like Jet Set Willy, except it's a lot more playable and fair in my opinion. Thanks to the many years of learning what makes good game design since those ancient platformers were first released. During my brief go at the game for making this video, I encountered a lot of see-through platforms that will have to be activated elsewhere before I can really make much progress, so it looks like completing the whole thing will take quite a while and a decent amount of skill. This is a great little game to have on the C64 for free, and an extremely solid addition to this tape. I suggest you give it a try. We finish off Power Pack 63 with the now obligatory shoot 'em up construction kit game. The Dark Within was created especially for the Commodore Format Archive by Rob Southworth. Each level of the game takes place in a different stage of your life as you explore your memories and literally face your demons. I enjoyed the first level, but I sadly didn't manage to progress past this and see the later stages. The enemies in this first stage are great and include keyboards and classic computers. You even collect CF power packs for bonus points. I enjoyed the music too. Despite suffering from the usual problems that every Souk-based game has to contend with, The Dark Within is an impressive and imaginative effort well worth checking out. So that brings us to the end of Power Pack 63, and I have to say it was a bit of a belter. The favourite of mine has to be Maze of the Mummy, very closely followed by XForce and You Have to Win the Game. I will definitely continue to play each of these in my free time on my C64 Mini. That just leaves one more Power Pack, so please join me again in 2 weeks' time for the conclusion of Covertape Chaos Commodore Format Edition.